Alright, here we are in match 3. Fortunate enough to be on the play again, which I will be. Unfortunately, got a mulligan this hand. No land. This one's far more keepable. Got some frogmites, got some cranials. Top deck of a land would be pretty good here, in my opinion. So 4 power on the board, turn 1. It's not bad. If my opponent forces this frogmite, though, I will not have 2 frogmites, unfortunately. My opponent did force my frogmite. Force pitching Flusterstorm. Maybe another Miracles deck? Okay. That's fine. Getting a 2 for 1 your opponent over a frogmite's fine. So now an artifact land top deck would be especially good. Get probed. So you will see that I have a frogmite and a cranial in my hand. I will most certainly attempt to cast this frogmite next turn. Maybe it's a combo deck. Ooh, maybe it's something awful, like something that plays Cabal Therapy. Probably taking the cranial here. Yeah, that's it. So I wonder if this is a control deck or if this is a combo deck. I'm sure some of you watching... Oh man, great top deck. I'm sure some of you watching know exactly what I'm playing against. It would have been a great top deck if I had had the cranial plating still. I would have enjoyed that. I can no longer be Cabal Therapied, which is good. But now I have a rather weak hand. Okay, some sort of Grixis deck. Grixis Delver in Legacy. Double Delves. And that was a bad draw. So now we're both in top deck mode, but he's the one that will have 2 flipped Delvers ostensibly next turn. I imagine there will be a Brainstorm here, perhaps. No, just going to blind go for it. Blind flips 2 Delvers off of Forked Bolt. That is not pretty for me. I imagine Frogmite's getting forked bolted here. I could still draw out of this. It's going to be extremely tough against 2 Delvers. I don't... I would have to draw... The way that it starts, in my opinion, is I draw Stoneforge Mystic. I can then go and get Jite. I can then, I don't know, well, Frogmite's going to be dead, right? So that doesn't get me out of that either. Because you have to do combat damage. So yeah, Frogmite bites the dust. I take 6 here. I'm unwilling to give up my blue source, which currently is Ornithopter. Gonna go ahead and keep that in my hand. No reason to play it. I'm on a very fast clock here. Have yet to play actually play against a Delver deck in Legacy. I wonder. I imagine my matchup is not very good. As Affinity, it tends to be against decks with lots of efficient burn and spot removal. So yeah, I'm on a 2-turn clock here. Probably a 1-turn clock, as I assume my opponent has some amount of lightning bolts in his deck. And the Ancient Tomb is pretty much dead. Okay. That's a start. It's actually kind of not a start, right? Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take 2. I'm immediately dead to everything my opponent plays. I'm going to have to +1. Yeah. I'd have to +1, hope to find an Ornithopter, block. It just wasn't going to happen. Fortunately, though, that does mean that... Man, what do I bring in against this deck? Umezawa's GT is going to be very good. I don't think they play equipment, do they? I'm not sure. If this one cannon, this might not be too shabby. Prevents my opponent from doing multiple things a turn. I might dump some Frogmites in favor of some Ethersworns. I don't think this is going to be very good. I don't know if they have anything I can name with Phyrexian Revoker. So let's go ahead and try this out. I also had a really bad hand last game. Yes, I will play first. I think this hand is slow, but okay. Maybe it's a little too slow, but S-Champion seems like a very good card in this matchup. So I'm not even going to play... I'm going to play Ancient in first if my opponent has a Wasteland. But I'm not even going to play Ornithopter this first turn. Actually, Wasteland would be very good against this hand. I really hope my opponent does not have one. And I need to draw into another mana source. Okay, well, the jig is up. My opponent knows what I have. Knows I kept kind of a sketchy hand, honestly. Well, and maybe that's just my Modern Affinity talking, but you basically want to have stuff to do turn 1 and 2. And I kind of do. I have Ornithopter. Well, I have GT. I'm probably not going to be playing this Ornithopter. How much do I want to play around? Well, let's see. The GT is like useless right now, right? Because I don't even have a... I don't even have a creature that can get in with it. I'm actually going to pass turn here. I don't want to run into a Daze or a Spell Pierce with my GT. It seems very good. And I can't really run out an Ornithopter because my opponent has no threats, and I am not interested in getting one of them forked bolted. So I really need to draw another mana source here so I can play the X-Champion. Well, the 3 Ornithopter plan is a thing, but still not really a reason to play it quite yet, I don't think. If I had a Springleaf or something, I would. In fact, I probably... No, because the Springleaf costs a mana, so it's mana neutral with the Ornithopters, but that doesn't really help me right now when I need to be playing Etch-Champion and Thoughtcast. Well, no, it would definitely help with Thoughtcast. I could play the Springleaf, play the Ornithopter, and then Thoughtcast. Yeah, but this is not going well for me, certainly. My opponent is just sculpting a beautiful hand over there. I imagine maybe digging for a land. It's not played one yet this turn, but has a lot of time to put Force of Wills and Dazes and the like. My opponent is going to be discarding here. I don't know if Delver wants to do that in Legacy. Okay, I'm happy with that. It's a lightning bolt that didn't go to my creatures or me. Ooh, come on. Well, this is actually a good reason to go ahead and play my Ornithopters, because now I have a creature I can play for free. And I can put GT on. So I'm hoping the Frogmite will eat a counter over the GT. I guess I have to go for it. Either my opponent has a Daze or he doesn't, or Force and he doesn't, and I can't... Yeah, here's a Force. Okay, I'm happy to get a Force. Dispel. I don't have any instants in my deck. So, good pitch on my opponent's part. Alright, so... Not getting... Well, my opponent's had a very slow start as well. So, I'm happy about that. Not happy I lost the GT. Alright, Young Pyromancer makes me wish I had another GT. Man, another Thoughtcast. Might as well attack with the Frogmite. I am willing to bet my opponent doesn't want to trade here, though. Alright, I will go ahead and deploy my other Ornithopter. It's not doing anything in my hand either. Yeah, I really need to draw either a Seed of the Synod, a Mox Opal, a Springleaf Drum, anything to let me utilize these Thoughtcasts and get back in this game. Okay, this is going to be a beating. Unless I am quickly able to do something here. My opponent could have gotten in for 2 there and opted not to. Alright, well that's certainly a start. Let's go ahead and play Etched. Awesome, he resolved. I'm definitely going to be aggressive with my Frogmite. So my opponent will have to chump it if he doesn't... Well, not chump it. I would love for my opponent to trade. I imagine he never will, though. My opponent's been stuck on 2 mana for a while now. Alright, well now he's up to 3. I imagine I could get wrecked by some sort of artifact killing spell, but I'm actually unsure as to how many of those are actually in Legacy, because I know Affinity is like kind of not a thing. Alright, so Bolt for my Frogmite. Definitely bad, I would say. As it creates 2 dudes for my opponent. 2 blockable dudes, fortunately. Blue source. Alright, blue source. I think I want to play another Etched Champion this turn. We'll do it before combat so I know whether or not I can safely attack. Although I'm probably attacking either way, actually. Alright, so now I'm kind of back in this game. I need to draw a Cranial, is what I need. Or Tezzeret for my flyer. Alright, Bob, let's see what you got. Delver is the revealed card. That's kind of bad, actually, because I do not want my opponent to have a 3-2 flyer. Right now I'm only winning because we're clogging up the ground. Alright, so this is the moment of whether or not my opponent has a Shatterstorm. So this is a Dig Through Time, a Tasigur. Okay, a Tasigur. Why couldn't my opponent flip Tasigur? That would have been awesome. Alright, so I really need to draw a piece of equipment. My opponent still doesn't have any good attacks, fortunately. And yet is opting to anyway. I'll probably take 1 and eat 1 with Etched Champion. Yeah, that's not a very good attack. I'm going to have to get really aggressive with these Etched Champions and hope my opponent kills himself before he kills me off these Bob Flips. Especially if he's playing cards like Tasigur, Force of Will. You know, it's not inconceivable. Okay, this is a bit of a weird attack to me. I'm going to be blocking the Young Pyromancers. Well, one of the Young Pyromancers. And I suppose both of the tokens. Well, I'm not blocking the Bob. So same plan, I'm just going to go ahead and block here. And actually, I will go ahead and block the other one. My opponent's playing cards like Bolt and Forked Bolt. So he could get rid of my Ornithopter here, but okay, he didn't. Alright, see this sign on. Let's Thoughtcast. Okay, Cranial, perfect. So that means I just win the game. I should have played this Ancient Tomb instead, so I could play this other Etched Champion if I needed to. And I guess my opponent could have like an Ancient Grudge here or something. which would certainly hurt, but I don't think it's the end of the game. Alright, sweet, we get to go to game 3 here. I do not want to take out a Thoughtseize. Alright, my opponent does not want to play game 3, so I'll go ahead and do round 4, just so that we get our a good amount of games in.